that are valued at $997. You can go to our website and see a one-on-one coaching call with Bill Pipes, and we'll give you the details on that. So with that said, I'm super excited to have, again, someone that can really impact people's lives, deliver to each and every one of you what can support you, and not who you are, but what you do. Real estate isn't who we are, it's what we do to experience who we are at the highest level, period. And now is a time that I think we've just got to dig in more than ever, unless you're not paying attention to what's around you. Pay attention enough to what's around you, but also do this. Live in urgency, not panic. And I'm excited that Bill's going to be able to deliver and support you with that. Dan, before I'll let you turn it over to Bill, anything you want to add before we get out of Bill's way here?
Well, I'm excited to have my team here, right? We're here as students, Bill. I think if you look at, I just did a post on this recently, actually, but a lot of real estate agents tend to try to be everything but salespeople. And it goes back to things our parents taught us about being a salesman and, hey, they're bad, they're this, they're that. We grow up with these concepts, but identity is one of the most important things that'll lead to the behaviors and actions that you take in any part of your life, but certainly also in your career. And so embracing, I just know that if I were to identify, because people ask me all the time, John, when can you identify in your business when it really shifted for you? And one of those things, there's never one thing, but one of those things for me was that shift of saying, you know what, I'm a salesperson, I'm going to fully embrace that. And when you really learn that, first of all, that's a noble profession. If you're selling people things they need, things they want, influencing them into positive directions. But when you identify as a salesperson, then you'll study sales, you'll study influence, you'll study language patterns, you'll study scripts, you'll study the dialogues, the objections, and how to handle conversations so that you can move human beings toward not what you want to stuff down their throat. Forget those salespeople, right? There's bad people in every profession, in every space in the world, but toward what they want, toward what's good for them. And it's made a huge difference for us. And so I have my agents here. We're all gonna be taking notes. I'm excited to listen in, man. So it's an honor to be here with you, Bill.
It is an honor to actually be, thank you, Dan, and thank you, John. It's an honor to actually be associated with the two of you guys. And as I said earlier, this is our first foray into as much contribution as we can make, the three of us together, into the entire ecosystem of real estate that's out there, all 1.4 million agents. And, our goal is to impact every single one of them in a positive manner. So, and sort of echoing what Dan said, guys, look, I love sales. Everyone just say this for me really quick with a big smile on your face and as much energy, because this is not going to be like the normal webinar. This is not going to be sit back, okay, let's see what happens. It's going to be us co-creating this together, my friends. And what that means is I need you taking notes. I need you smiling, right? I need you doing some of the crazy stuff that I'm going to ask you to do, because it's all by design to be able to actually have you at an optimum level of learning. So put a big smile on your face, and I want you to point at yourself. I just want you to say this: I am a great salesperson, right? With some energy, some excitement, some enthusiasm. Let's do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I am a great salesperson. Let's hear it. And you can even put it in the chat. Just love sales, whatever it is. So we're just gonna start right there. And guys, we're gonna maintain this energy throughout the entire 60 minutes that I got with you guys. Because one of the things that you're gonna learn, and one of the cornerstones I want to teach you, is that energy is a primary precursor to someone buying anything from anyone, right? Is that you've got to have an abundance of energy, appropriate energy, obviously. And I love seeing all the chat of the I am a great salesperson. And by the way, guys, I want you using the chat. Obviously, we've learned, all of us, how to be able to engage in an interactive virtual world right now. And the chat for me is really important because I can't see you face to face, but I can vibe on you over there in the chat as well too. So, and by the way, Lori Hoban, great to see you, and to have the opportunity to have you in this class as well too. For those of you that I don't know, my name is Bill Pipes. I've been in the industry for 30 years. Really cut my teeth as an agent, watching my mom as a real estate agent and watching her go through the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows. Got exposed to, a godfather in the space of real estate, Mr. Mike Ferry. Learned as much as I possibly could, from him. And then went on to learn from Gary Keller, a guy by the name of Dan Pena. Just have this incredible pedigree of individuals that I've been fortunate enough to be able to actually be around and been like humble enough to be able to learn from and to take my ego and put it aside. And I really ask you guys to do that today. To be able to take what you think you know about sales and put it aside, because we're going to debunk some of those myths. And I've only got you for an hour here today, maybe a little bit more. I have done 100,000 coaching sessions, 50,000 hours inside the space of coaching, had my own team, ran a mortgage company. We grew up to 3,000 people. But I found in all of this, guys, the thing that I love the most is transferring the knowledge, the skills that I've learned to as many people as I possibly can. And that ultimately came from a movie, Dead Poet Society. Does anyone remember that movie in the chat? Like, great Robin Williams, God bless his soul, right? Watch that movie and I said, oh my gosh, man, I want to help as many people live a life of passion and joy and transformation as I possibly can. Oh, Captain, my captain. Yes, there it is. And so as much as I've enjoyed growing my team and sold that and the mortgage company and growing that, et cetera, what my passion is helping all of you. Right? And being able to truncate the growth curve that you're on to be able to get you to the success that you want to have quicker. That's my goal in life, right? And, in doing so, I've had the chance to coach some of the top agents in all of North America, people earning $3 to $12 to $15 million. But they didn't start there, guys. And I know we see the end result of some of these great agents and we go, oh my gosh, they're so amazing. They're so incredible. I could never do that. But I'll tell you what, if they can do it, you can. And if you're sitting here and you're earning $100,000 a year, $50,000 a year, I'll tell you, a lot of the agents, every single one of the agents that you now see earning 8, 10, 12 million, they were in your shoes at one time. So I want you to recognize, if anyone can do it, so can you. Okay. Now, there is a challenge that we're facing right now, my friends. And anyone want to guess what the primary challenge in relationship? Dan talked a little bit about it, but in relationship to selling, sales, and real estate, what do you think has been the primary challenge that we're facing right now in relationship to real estate, sales, and sales in general? Inventory, crazy market, people's mindset. Yes. No inventory. Absolutely. Here's what I'm going to tell you is we have had, my friends, a decade of the best real estate economy we have ever seen in the history of the United States. And I love it, Randy, man. I love you. I love you for saying what you said there because it's absolutely correct. And in this space of real estate being so robust and us having the opportunity to be able to actually, look, many of you last year had your best year ever. And the year before was your best year leading up to that. And because we've had the millennials coming in, they've been such a strong push inside the market, my friends. I don't want to say real estate's been easy because it definitely hasn't been easy, but it's been simple. And because there's been so much real estate in itself the market has done a lot of the heavy lifting, low interest rates, which we've seen are beginning to creep up and not just creep up, but shoot up. And we, all this demand that's out there, what has happened is we as agents have gotten a little bit soft as salespeople. And I want you to point at yourself and I want you to go, Pipes is so talking to me right now. He is so talking to me. Because when things are really good, right, we have a tendency not to be able to actually continue to grow the skills that we have. Now, couple that, guys, look at me. You couple that with the fact that the consumer in the last 4 to 5 years, the consumer patterns have changed. The way that people make decisions is different. This emergence to what I call the digital world and digital and traditional world has hit together. Right? I love it, John. You said, we can't be order takers, but a lot of agents have become order takers and they have not actually taken the time to be able to actually truly drive the skills that are necessary. And here's what I believe, guys. I believe this market will shift. I believe that we're in the midst of seeing some tiny shifts that are taking place. And even though inventory levels are low right now, right, that this market is going to change and we're going to see a different market in the next 6 to 12 months than we've ever seen in the last 3 to 4 years. How many of you believe, and we saw it in September and October, some of you may remember that. How many of you remember September, October? Inventory began to creep up a little bit, right? Little bit, micro moves, okay? Homes where it was a tale of two markets. Homes that were like not in great condition were sitting longer. People are going, what is going on? Why is my house not selling? It didn't sell in 48 hours. What? They're sitting 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20 days in some cases. We saw a precursor looking into our crystal ball of what is coming in September and October of last year, coming this year. Okay. Right? I love it. Amanda says, just had this conversation today at my office. All right. Now, here's what I want you to write down, because I want you to write this down. We are moving into, and I'm going to share the screen right now because I did do some work with you guys. There we go. We are moving into what I call, my friends, a skill-based market, where what you say and how you say it truly matters. More so now than ever before, being able to actually create certainty, right? Create certainty for your clients in what you say, how you say it, move them forward, create urgency for them as well too. Those are going to be the individuals, Roger, that you said will reap the incredible rewards, because in my opinion, there will be a lot of agents that are going to be flushed out. How many of you believe that when this market, as this market begins to shift and change a little bit, which it's doing, how many of you believe that there will be some agents that are going to be flushed out of the market? Just like say yes over here. Yep, absolutely. And you know, the average agent, guys, does 4 deals. The average agent does 4 to 5 deals. Wouldn't it be great if you could actually do your 4 or 5 additional deals and get to choose the agent that you're actually putting out of the business? Just walk into your office and go, you're gone, and see you later. Now, my friends, I want you to understand something. I'm gonna go back to our screen share. All right, right here. Selling is different now. And I want to relay this here at the very beginning over to something that I was thinking about. Horse-drawn carriage and buggy. Once upon a time, that was the primary mode of transportation for human beings on the planet. Along came Ford and said, I'm going to create a affordable car that, tough to see, but yes, you can see it okay. All right. Affordable car that anyone can actually buy. Now, at first, of course, it was a status symbol, but eventually what happened, you guys know, like at the very beginning, all right, the very beginning, cars were outlawed in certain cities because they would backfire, they would cause craziness for the horses, pandemonium would ensue, etc. But eventually what happened was this, is eventually horse-drawn carriage and buggies, right, disappeared and got replaced by the Model T, the Model A, and other cars that came along. Right. And now, I mean, could you imagine? I mean, I think sometimes if you're in Pennsylvania or some of the other areas, you can see the Amish that are on the horse-drawn carriage and buggies. But could you imagine going down the 405 freeway and looking out the window and there comes a horse-drawn carriage and buggy? You'd think it was absolutely crazy. But here's the analogy I want to draw for you. There are many people out there, many salespeople in real estate right now that are 100% using skills that are the equivalent to the horse-drawn carriage and buggy. They're using old 1920s and 1930s and 1940s techniques in a 2022 year, right? And they're wondering why they're not succeeding at the level that they need to. Right now, I wrote this down. The consumers, they require 7 to 10 touch points. They have moved towards individualization. They want to be sold in a manner or be connected with in a manner that is individualized and personalized to them. We have to master an intersection right now, my friends, between service and technology. Technology, is you're going to see here really soon, right, is going to be critical in terms of developing rapport and authority. And then on top of that, the consumer, my friends, how many of you guys have noticed consumers are a lot more educated? They're a lot more sophisticated right now. Right? That old conversations and dialogues aren't going to work. Now, my friends, we can go horse-drawn carriage and buggy, or go right here as well too. Once upon a time, number one selling car in the world was the Camaro, guys. Right now, you got. I remember when the Fisker and some of these other cars came out that were electric cars. People were saying, "Oh, they're novelties." Well, now you go to San Francisco, you hardly see any car that's not a Tesla or not an electric car. Now, they're only 1 to 2% of the entire cars on the population, but it's risen dramatically. See, we are still in a world that is evolving and is evolving incredibly quickly. And what we have to actually get to is what I'm calling blended selling, my friends. Blended selling. And what blended selling is where you have cornerstone skills that are traditional, that still matter, that you still need to employ and that you still need to use, plus influence strategies, both traditional and digital or more modern, plus the personalization that you need to engage in, where you're not one size fits all type of selling. That's what it takes to have massive success. cornerstone skills, influence strategies, traditional and digital, personalization, and then massive success. And in the time that I have with you guys here today, this short 45 minutes to 50 minutes left, I'm going to give you some of the skills and the tools that you can use immediately. I mean, right now, that you could use to be able to actually convert leads over, to be able to actually personalize your selling process, to use values instead of features, and also touch on some of these cornerstones. Sound good? Everyone say, let's rock and roll, Pipes, in the chat, if you would, please. Give me a little let's rock and roll. Okay. So I just did a blog a couple of days ago. Just got back from Paris, and sitting there looking at the Eiffel Tower, I was amazed at and we went to the top of it, and it was just absolutely incredible. And as we got to the top, I looked down and I said, holy shit, what type of a foundation must this have to be such a tall, enormous building, to be able to maintain the weight? So I did some research in terms of it. And it made me start to think about us as salespeople. Now, what I'm about to share with you, these 7 cornerstones, are what you absolutely need to have at the foundation, at the base of who you are as a salesperson. Right? Everyone say it for me again. Right? I love to sell. I'm a great salesperson. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. I love to sell. I'm a great salesperson. And in studying the best salespeople, what I have found is this, is that these 7 skills that I'm going to share with you right now are fundamental to your success in real estate or any other sales environment that you're in inside of life. Okay. Number 1, and I want you to write this down because we will not be giving these slides out. So that means that you guys need to write it down. Okay. You got to write it down, write it down, write it down. Number 1, you have to develop a certainty through dialogues, meaning I know that we have a little bit of resistance. I'm going to talk about this here in a second as we get into some scripts that I want you guys to use. But when I typically say the word scripts, what comes to your mind, guys? When I say the word scripts, what comes up in your head? Like, no bullshit, total honesty. What comes up? Jenny, yes, cheese. I call it high lactose selling is the word, right? Torture, Derek, Mike Ferry, yes, practice, paper, skill. Based on a true, think about like these classes that I've been in, etc. Here's what I want you to understand. All great salespeople use some type of a established dialogue. Some of the greats do it without even knowing it. Most of the greats do it because they've actually taken the time to practice it over and over and over again. And what you'll notice is the greats do it and you don't even notice that it's a actual script that they're using. It sounds like a normal conversation. Right? But that cornerstone, every single one of you need to identify what are the scripts and the dialogues that you need to be using, some of which I'm going to share with you here today. And then you got to practice those over and over and over again. Number 2, you have to have an engagement through energy, an engagement, guys, through energy and what I call state control. Being able to control your emotional state, no matter if you're having a good day, bad day, up day, down day, you need to be able to walk into the office. If you're a leader, be able to lead your people powerfully, no matter what's going on with your family, with your kids, with your whatever it is that's taking place, right? And put all that shit aside and be able to focus. There is a by design way to be able to do that, which I teach on a regular basis. I don't have time to do that today, but here's what I will tell you. I think if all of you, right, look at me right now. Do I have a little bit of energy or a lot of energy? What would you guys say? Tiny bit or a bunch? In the chat, you guys got to tell me. A ton, a lot, a bunch, right? Okay. And what does it do? Energy, my friends, is compelling. It is attractive. It makes people want to be around you. Okay. It keeps you engaged, right? Like someone says you have a lot as usual, of course, right? But here's what I found over the years. Believe it or not, you can make up for lower skills with higher energy. I'm not advocating that, but I did that as a brand new salesperson, guys. Like I didn't know what I was saying, what I was doing. I walked in sort of like just blah, right? Verbally vomited and I ended up getting the listing. And there's like my 3rd listing that I got. And I think the reason that I got it is either A, they felt sorry for me, or B, they were compelled by the energy, right? And see, right now, what I would say is that most of us are not using energy as a tool for influence, right? And so here's your coaching number 1. Over the course of the next 24 hours, I'd recommend all of you do a little experiment. See if you can't increase your energy by 50% and see the results. When you call a lead or a prospect and you're on a presentation, instead of doing it your normal way, by the way, if all you do is what's normal, my friends, the best you're ever going to be is average. I'm going to say that again to you. If all you do is what's normal, the best you'll ever be is average. So I want you to be abnormal. Right? I want you to do something that is outside your comfort zone. I was talking to Chris Voss, and Chris Voss said this. He said, awkwardness is both the barrier to transformation and necessary for accelerated learning. I want you guys awkward, uncomfortable, because that's where change occurs. That's where all growth is. So practice that energy. Number 3, confidence built around a strong sales psychology. I'm not going to talk a lot about that because I got an entire section for you guys here in a minute on it. But here's what I believe right here. This is the first step to you guys being able to actually, have a breakthrough in terms of the sales that you're having, is that you have got to have a steel trap mindset. When I look at Beer, when I look at Shep, man, these guys, no matter what shit is being thrown at them, Beer's got the smile on his face, John's ready to go, right? And that doesn't come just automatic. You may think they were born that way. No way, guys. The greats condition themselves to be that way. The greats condition themselves to be that way, okay? Stefan DeLarnza from Dan Beer's sales team says your tone is delivered 2 levels lower over the phone. It's absolutely correct. It's actually condensed down. Okay. Number 4, connection through what I call tactical. Well, I'd love to say I call it. I actually ripped it off from my good buddy, Mr. Chris Voss. Tactical empathy. Tactical empathy. You guys want to try a little experiment? How many guys are down for a little experiment? Say aye. Tomorrow, or today for some of you, when we get off this call, I'd want you to call a couple of your leads. But before, what tactical empathy is having an empathy for the situation that the people are in, an energetic connection with them. I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions, right? This is what tactical empathy is. It's, actually empathy by design. I want you to ask yourself before you call the person, before you go on the presentation, if you have a presentation tonight, before you're going out to show a buyer, I want you to ask these questions to yourself, not to them. What do I love or like about them? Write these down. What do I love or like about them? What do I appreciate about them? What do I love or like about these individuals that I'm going to call? What do I love or like about this person I'm going to present to? What do I appreciate about them? How are we similar? What am I grateful for? I guess that would be more the appreciation. What do I love or like? What I appreciate about them? How are we similar? What is their problem and how can I solve it? Voss, the #1 negotiator for the FBI in the history of the FBI, my friends, says these are the questions he would ask before he was talking to the person that, was like, we got this kid, we want $50 million or else his life will be over. He started from that. He said his #1 tool for negotiation was empathy, my friends. So if you just take that, now keep in mind, I'm going to tell you something. Communication is the transference of energy between 2 people, my friends. That's all it is. I am bombarding you right now with energy. You are giving me energy back, right? This is how communication takes place. When you're on the calling a lead, you're transferring energy back and forth, right? And part of that energy is empathy. I could get into the science of this. I could get into mirror neurons and how the brains read each other's minds. But when you put yourself in that state of what do I like? What do I appreciate that? How are we similar? What is their problem and how can I solve it? Your approach changes. Your tone changes, right? Your patience changes as well too. And the client can ultimately feel that as well too, okay? All right. Number 5. Authenticity from conversational agreement. This is nothing more than a cornerstone where repeating and approving back to what the person said. I get so many recordings. I'll say that again. It's repeating and approving back when someone gives you an answer. I get so many recordings of people making prospecting calls. I actually love to hear it. Hear my clients' follow-up calls, their lead calls, their prospecting calls, their presentations. One of the biggest mistakes I see that people make is this. It's one of the cornerstones, one of the basics. They simply don't repeat back. They don't give approval. Right? And it's a real different conversation. If you're calling someone and you say, when do you guys plan on moving? They give you an answer. You don't repeat it back. How long have you lived at this address? They give you an answer. You don't repeat it back, right? Where'd you move from? They give you an answer. You don't repeat it back. It begins to sound, my friends, like an interrogation. And 95% of the calls that I hear, real estate agents and salespeople are missing this one piece. And you will see, like, watch. If I'm having a conversation with Beer, right, and I say, hey, Beer, where are you climbing? And he goes, we're getting ready to actually climb Mount Rainier. I say, Mount Rainier, man, that's really exciting. That's a natural cadence. It's conversational agreement, right? When are you guys doing it? Oh, we're thinking about, we've already got it scheduled for May, the end of May of 2022. May of 2022, wow, that's pretty quick. Yeah, it sure is. We do this naturally in our normal environment. But then when we get on the phone, you guys ever notice this? Do you ever like turn into Tommy Boy sometimes when you're in your sales mode? You guys remember the great movie Tommy Boy with Chris Farley? How many of you guys remember that movie? Yeah? How many of you by raise of your hands have like left a presentation and went, wow, I shit the bed on that one. That didn't go too well. And oh my gosh, right? I love the scene where he's, like trying to sell the brake pads and he's got the car and he lights the thing on fire. I think we've all had that experience. But see, you can avoid a lot of that, A, by staying on dialogue, number one, making sure you don't go off onto some tangent. B, right, by being able to repeat, approve, let them know you heard them, right? And you want to watch people begin to open up to you. That number 5, conversational agreement, will do it all the time. Number 6, trust developed from rapport. Obviously, there's multiple different rapport techniques. I'm going to share one with you later on today, but rapport is nothing more than, can you match the behavioral patterns of the people that you're speaking with, the way that they talk, how quickly, how slowly, etc. And then last but not least, number 7 is you have to be able with clients to establish certainty, belief with authority. Listen to how I just said that. See, because there's 2 ways, and I want you to write this down, that you establish certainty. Number 1, and I want you to write it down exactly the way that I'm going to give it to you. Know your shit. Did you write it down that way? Know your shit. Know the market statistics. Know what's taking place in your local market in terms of trends. Know the neighborhoods. Know what schools are great. Know inside and out the product that you sell, which is the communities, and it's not just the houses, right? Because when you know the market, you know the process. I'm sitting here right now. I've got the NAR 2022 homeowner report. When it talks about what agents or what clients want in an agent, they want someone to help them understand the process, obviously find them the right house in today's market, but they want someone that has market knowledge, that has process knowledge, right? Take a look at it. You'll see the top 4, 3 of them are knowledge-based things. When you know your shit inside and out, my friends, what's amazing is you talk with authority. You talk with certainty, right? Your tone changes. That's number 2, by the way. Number 1 is know your shit inside and out, because you can talk from authority. Number 2, write down, is speak in a manner that is authoritative, using a downswing where you go down with your voice, right? You don't want to do this all the time because it feels really commanding, but there are certain times, like when I'm closing on somebody, right? When I'm getting ready, I want them to make a decision. I'm absolutely going to go down with my voice, just like that. See, because watch me, guys. Listen carefully. Would you sign the contract, please? Sounds a lot different than would you sign the contract, please? Right? One is commanding. The other one is asking. Right? And you'd be amazed when I talk about getting all of the scripts or the recordings from people that I've coached over the years, right? Is the 2 biggest mistakes that I noticed. Well, 3 is, number 1, I don't know what script they're on because it's just sort of a poop burrito listening to some of the calls. Number 2, they're absolutely not repeating back and approving. And number 3 is they're speaking as if they're weak. The consumer in today's world wants someone that's strong. They want someone that knows and is an authority that they can be led by, right? They want certainty. And I want you to write that down. I want you to write down as a question, am I creating certainty in my conversations and presentations? And if you're not, it could be one of the main reasons that you're actually missing out on the opportunities. So my friends, cornerstones. Now I can go a lot deeper on every single one of these, giving you specific things to do. But if you had to work on one, and this is one of the key things as a coach that I've noticed is we have this tendency sometimes to go, holy crap, man, I want to take all of this on instead of taking one thing on. We have a tendency to water ski on the surface, to scuba dive, go deep, right? I'm a strong believer in going deep on one thing than going wide with a bunch. So what is your one of these 7 that you need to work on? You can just put the number in there. Is it number 1, the dialogues, number 2, your energy and getting that up? Is it your psychological state, tactical empathy, conversational agreement, rapport, authority? What is it? I want to hear from all 655, 660 of you right now. Seeing a great blend of just about everything right here. This is fantastic. Someone put 10 and 5. I didn't even know there was a 10. Congratulations. All right. Okay, my friends. So there's your corner, there's your foundation. There's your basis. From that basis, you have an ability to be able to actually build anything that you want. You can go more advanced, but what I would tell you is for a lot of you guys right now, for some of you, look, check it out. Some of you are really great salespeople already. Hopefully this last 10, 15 minutes was a refresher for you. See, we need to be reminded on a regular basis about some of these basics and some of these fundamentals because we have a tendency to forget them sometimes, right? And so then we go back and we refresh, right? Like a great athlete that's going back to the fundamentals and back to the basics, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to move over into something like, I want to move over into the sexy. I want to move over. How many of you guys like the sexy? I like the sexy. So hold on 1 second. Who doesn't like the sexy? Okay, so let me give this to you guys really quick. Move that over there. All right. Over the years, one of the most important things that I have found is when I study, and you know, when I was 13 years old, guys, I started studying top producing individuals. I was like a weirdo. Maybe it came from the fact that I had to move. I moved like to 6 different schools by the time that I was in 10th grade. My mom was constantly moving, and so I had this tendency to have to make friends and everything. And so I just started learning human behavior. I mean, I read How to Win Friends and Influence People at 14 years old. Listened to my first audio program at 13 years old that my mom got from a company called Success Awareness Institute, SAI, out of Waco, Texas. And in studying all of these great individuals over the course of the last, my gosh, 40 years now at this point, 37 years. And the main things that I found is this. I'll stop the screen share so I can see you. There we go. Well, the main things I found is this, my friends. The number one quality that all great salespeople have. Does anyone, guys, I'd love for you to jump in and tell me what you think. Number one quality that great salespeople have. Listening, being yourself, rapport, sincere, ability to listen, connection. Man, no one's gotten it yet. Connecting with people, trust, passion, honesty, knowledge. Wow, I'm so surprised. Okay, you guys want to know? You want to know what the real secret is? They have a unstoppable mindset for success. Let me say it again. They have an unstoppable. There we go, Gary. I think I said it right. I mean, watch. Obsessed with keeping their head as strong as they possibly can. Now, I said this earlier about Beer and about Shep, that these guys, man, I'm amazed. Like, every single day, just at the attitude that they have, this attitude of contribution. And you know what, Gina? They don't take no for an answer. Yeah, great salespeople don't take no for an answer, but you know why they can do that? They can do that, A, because they're prepared with what to say, but B, mentally, they are so strong. So I want to share something with you guys really quick here. I call it the Great 8. And what the Great 8 is this is what I would challenge every single one of you to do over the course of the next 90 days. Now, John had said, hey, we're going to give you guys the opportunity to be able to actually be in a 12-week program. I cannot wait to share this with you because it is like nothing that has ever been brought to the real estate industry ever. I promise you. Right? And I know that because I've been to as many things as I can in real estate. But here is one of the things that I'm going to be driving home over the course of those 90 days is putting every single person through a mental detox program, right? To be able to reset and be able to actually change the way that they look at things. Because when you change, Wayne Dyer said this, you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So check it out. I'm gonna go really quick on this, right? These are your grade 8. This is what needs to be done every single day, right? This is when you wake up, right? Even if you're having a shitty day, a great day, whatever, right? You do the grade 8. It's 10 minutes of practicing dialogues. That's right. I want you practicing. I want you to get to a point with your listing presentation where you can go, hi, thanks again for having me over. I'm excited about getting your home on the market and getting it sold. I wrote down 3 real important questions for you. Number 1, do you absolutely have to sell this home? Number 2, you willing to price your home to sell? Number 3, do you want me to handle the sell for you? At the end of my presentation tonight, one of the 3 will happen. Number 1, you'll have the opportunity to list your home with me. Number 2, you'll decide not to list your home with me. Number 3, I'll decide not to take your listing. Any of those 3 is fine. Let's quickly take a moment, review the questions I asked you over the phone. You said you're moving to blank. You said you'd be there by blank, and you didn't need to be by blank. Now, that's my listing presentation, right? How did I get to that point where I could actually rattle it off like that? 10 minutes of practicing dialogues every single day. 10 minutes of practicing dialogues every single day. 10 things that you're grateful for. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces on the planet. My son, Liam, who is now it's like my child. If you could see my office, you see all these little pictures of him. My little Pipes, my little man is 6'1", almost 6'2", 15 years old. When he was a kid, he was in his class, in his science class, and Miss Perkins was his teacher's name. And Miss Perkins said, electricity is the strongest force on the planet. And Liam raised his hand and said, excuse me, Miss Perkins, I disagree with you. She said, well, Liam, why would you disagree with me? We all know electricity. He goes, no, Miss Perkins, we all know that gratitude and love are the greatest forces on the planet. 6 years old when he did that. He still has that heart. But see, gratitude is a powerful force. Gratitude is a powerful force because when you're grateful, it changes the neuroscience of your brain, right? And you begin to notice more opportunities. There's an entire science behind it. But see, you've got to engage in gratitude, even on those crappy days, right? I've had gratitude like on my list where I just go, oh shit, I'm grateful I got out of bed today. Anyone ever had a day like that, right? But then you begin to notice the opportunities and you begin to notice what's available. 10 wins. What are the successes? This is all scientifically driven, guys. I designed this with the help of a neuroscientist to be able to actually help you release dopamine and serotonin into your bloodstream, right? So that your brain can optimize, so that you can get that rush. 10 affirmations. Right? One of my favorites, I'm going to rip it off from Tony Robbins. I do it every single day. Do it with my daughter, Sophia, when I'm driving in the car. Right now, I am the voice. I will lead, not follow, create, not destroy, believe and not doubt. I'm a force for good. I'm a force for God. I'm a leader. Defy the odds. Set a new standard. Step up, Pipe. Step up, step up, step up. Do that affirmation every single day. Whatever ones you want to do, you do. Read for 10 pages. 10 minutes of meditation. So critical. The more billionaires with a B, guys, that I meet, the more that I notice that every single one of them are in some type of mental practice of quieting the mind. My friends, the answers that you want are all there. It's all that bullshit chatter that's in your head that keeps you from being able to hear it. And if you don't meditate, get the Calm app. If you don't meditate, get Insight Timer. If you don't meditate, get any of those apps that are out there and just press play. 10 minutes of digital or auditory learning, podcast, Audible, whatever it is. And then here's the big one. All that stuff leads to action. That action is 10 conversations with leads and prospects per day. Because what I will tell you is a mindset program that doesn't have listen so carefully what I'm going to say to you guys right now. A mindset program that doesn't end in action is nothing more than cotton candy. That's all it is. And the minute shit gets tough, it will dissolve. But a mindset program that leads into action, right, will build belief. Everything that I just gave you right there is designed to get you onto that call, to make that first call, to move yourself forward. Okay? Awesome, guys. All right. How many of you would be down for running 90 days with this 90-day process? Because it takes 67 days to be able to actually create a new habit. How many of you guys are in on this? Love it. Beautiful. Now, let me stop this right here. So we've gone fundamentals. We talked a little bit of cornerstone as I promised you. And on top of that, now at this point, guys, I cannot wait to start to share with you some of these closing techniques. If you remember what I said earlier today, I said individualization, personalization is what many consumers, most consumers want. In an article that was written in Forbes, a lot of research that went into this, is one of the number one things that people wanted to actually feel important. MMFI, make me feel important. How do you make somebody feel important? Well, you personalize your process, your system, your strategy, your conversation to them. You know, the old model of selling, the Model T, not Model T, the horse-drawn buggy model of selling was you just sell one way to every person. And then you're a square peg trying to find that other square peg as you're missing out on all the round holes. Modern selling is using tools and dialogues to figure out what the values are that the person is going to purchase from. And I want you to write this down. People buy based on value, their values, not based upon the features. They buy based upon their values, not upon the features. And until you find out their true values, then you won't be able to actually personalize, you won't be able to individualize the conversation and then the offer that you're making. So let's take a look at this really quick. I'm gonna share screen. Let's go back over here. That, and there we go. Oh, by the way, I just had to say this. Don't the greats make the planned seem impromptu? The greats make the planned seem impromptu. Michael Jordan, amazing stuff that he did. Air Jordan, that's all practice that all of a sudden he could improvise. This is one of my favorite Cirque du Soleils. It's called Ka, right? You watch these men and women doing all these incredible acrobatics. It looks impromptu, but it's all planned. If you ever, I know Greg Cummings is on this. Greg, I spent some time with in Hawaii, and I played the guitar a little bit. Greg is a great drummer, and his team is incredible musicians. Every single one of them, they would all jam. But if you ever watch a great jazz jam, that's all. Even though it looks impromptu, they're doing certain things that they practiced over and over, and even a wonderful ballet. So, with that being said, I want to give you a 5-step value elicitation process today. When you ask somebody, why is it that you're buying a home? Why is it that you're selling your home? They give you an answer invariably, right? But let me ask you guys something, okay? Is that first answer the real answer in their mind? Is that first answer that they give you the real answer? Is that their true, to their heart, fundamental, emotional driving, their emotional reason for buying or selling? Is it? What do you guys think? Yes or no? Very rare, Jack. Hey, Jack Hamilton, good to see you. Jack, I think the only time that would be a yes is if you have massive rapport with them. And even those people that you know sometimes don't divulge it right at the very beginning. So this script, now everyone say, I love scripts on the count of 3 with a big smile on your face. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I love scripts, right? This script right here is 100% designed to get you from the general to the specific emotion that's driving them. It starts with this. I ask the client, the buyer, the seller. Now, by the way, this isn't a first conversation dialogue. This is once you're with them for a little bit. I ask that buyer, I ask that seller as I've been working with them or had a couple of conversations. Maybe I do this on the presentation. I ask them, hey, Dan, hey, John, what's important for you about buying your home? And they're going to give me an answer. Oh, you know what? We've got to get, larger place. We're having a kid, right? It's really important to us. Now, I could stop there and just try and use that as emotional leverage. Because remember, logic gets people to think, but it's the emotion that gets them to act. What I want to get is what is their emotional value? Well, so what I do is I go to the second question. That second question is, how's that important to you? The bigger house because the family's growing. What will that do? Right? Now, I'm moving up. Imagine a triangle, my friends. I'm moving from a general to a more specific. And as I get up that triangle, there's more emotion that's involved. The person at that time may say to you, gosh, well, you know what? I want my, each of my kids to be able to actually have their own place. I don't want them to feel on top of each other. It's just important for me that my wife or my husband, whoever it is that's staying at home, has that space, right? But I'm not going to stop there. See, I could stop there and I got more emotion. But number 3 is, so ultimately, and I'm going to repeat back the answer to question number 1. You having the bigger house because you guys are actually having, your family's growing. Everyone has their own room. Your wife or your husband, has the space that they need to be able to actually work at home and do what they're doing. What will all of that do for you? Typically at this point, guys and gals, what they'll do is they'll pause. You'll see them, their eyes go up to the left. They'll access. You want to give them time and don't rush them on this. And then they're going to give you an answer. Typically, it'll sound like this. It's just going to make me feel relieved. It's going to have me feel empowered. It's going to make me feel like I've done my job, right? Okay. And at that point, you now have their value. You have what's driving them, right? If I get someone that says, you know what, it's going to give me the sensation that I've done what I need to do for my family. And believe it or not, if you got rapport, they will open up. Like every single one of these questions opens them up a little bit more. It's a little bit more, right? And then that becomes what you sell to. When I'm showing a property, I'm not showing them, this has 4 bedrooms, this has 2 baths, this has this. No, I'm showing them, hey, imagine your family coming home. And every single day when you come home from work, you see them there and you just think, look around, you see everyone in their room. I did my job. I did what I needed to do for them. My friends, that is called value-based selling. And when you begin to do that, it's a huge contribution that you make. And then the close is it a ridiculous idea for us to blank? Is it a ridiculous idea for us to blank? I'm going to talk about that here in a second. All right, I know we're running short on time. But guys, again, this technique needs to be practiced. Take a screenshot of it right now because I'm going to the next one. Take a screenshot because I'm going to the next one for you guys, okay? Got it? Beautiful. Now, my friends, this is not basic. This is advanced, right? And what I'm going to say is, like driving a Ferrari, you better practice it. Otherwise, if you take it out and go too fast, you're going to crash the car. And you can actually have this backfire if you don't put the time, energy, and effort into practice. Now, let's talk rapport, baby. What is rapport? What is rapport? Rapport is, do I feel good around you? Do I feel good around you? In the old model, the traditional model of rapport, it was meet someone, talk to them, see what their pace was, adjust my pace. Let me stop the screen share so I can see you guys. Adjust my pace. Like, are they tone? Like, what is their tone? What are they doing with their body? And that is still a fundamental cornerstone. You saw it on the fundamental cornerstones. But we now live in a world where digitally people are making decisions, where they are absolutely researching and determining exactly who they're going to work with based upon your digital footprint that is out there in the world. Let me show you guys something. Some really interesting statistics that I think is going to blow you guys away. All right, hold on. 85% of people do research before choosing their agent. 85%. Right? I think that number may be low. I think it's even a little bit higher. I think that there's certain people that aren't telling the truth, right? I think it's probably up in the 90s. 57% of the decision of whether someone is going to work with an agent or not is made before speaking to the agent. Why is that? It's because they were doing the research. And they're doing 79 days of gathering information on what? On you, on how you show up. They're not using, this is really interesting because only 1% to 2% of buyers and sellers found their agent through social media. But what we do, guys, all right, as a consumer, is we choose an agent, then validate it based upon how they're showing up in social media. So doing the shots off of the belly of your best friend while you're down in Cabo may not be the best thing to actually have on your Instagram or your TikTok, right? So just joking. Now, 72 to 84% of clients only contacted one agent. They only contacted, my friends, one agent. I want you to think about that, right? They do all this research. They call one. That one calls them back. Maybe they call two. The first one they call maybe doesn't call them back. Okay. But the first one that they meet with, 72 to 84%. You may say, what's the variance? The variance is based upon age, right? 84% is the older community, right? 84% of them only meet with one. 72% is the younger community. You're going to see the younger community now is actually searching out a little bit more. They're doing a little bit more in terms of cross comparison right now. Okay. So what does that mean for all of us? It means this is us. Anyone remember this? I still can't find that damn Waldo. I thought I could, but I just don't see him. Does anyone remember where's Waldo? This is a group of agents that a buyer is looking at, trying to determine and choose exactly who they're going to work with, or a seller trying to choose who it is that they are going to choose as their ultimate agent, right? Right? And how do we stand out in a sea of sameness? You found him, Keith. I hate you and I love you. Right? Right? It's a sea of sameness that's out there. If they Google you, here's a little fun game for you guys. Google yourself. That didn't sound right, but Google your name and see what comes up. And ask yourself this question. Would you hire you based upon what you saw? Is there enough social proof, enough validity, enough of, like your contribution of your knowledge base and you showing it for someone to go, dang, I got to pick up the phone. I got to call Gina back. And if not, then you probably need to make some changes. I'm going to show you guys really quick. Mr. Dan Beer, I told you I was going to rip this off, so I hope it's okay. Every single one of you, and in the 12-week course that, hopefully a lot of you guys will be jumping into, in the 12-week course, I'm going to help you in terms of exactly what videos you need to be putting on your YouTube. Now, you may think, hey, Pipes, YouTube, really? Absolutely 100%. YouTube is the second largest search engine. It also plays very well with Google. This is digital influence. When I talk about one of the first stages of digital influence, it's you being able to show your expertise, your involvement in the community, your knowledge base, your knowledge of the market, etc. People, when you are if they hit one of your websites, right? And this is for the team leads as well too. They hit your website. Well, the next thing that they're going to do is they're going to Google who is this team or who is this agent, etc. And if they come up on a YouTube page or they come up into Google and there's not a lot of information, they will do the 4-letter word, which is next, N-E-X-T. I love what Beer has done here. He's got his seller and buyer tips, San Diego community highlights, just did such a wonderful job on this, right? I was so happy when I saw this. He has his client reviews and testimonials. By the way, my friends, 98% of consumers today say that reviews come into play in relationship to making a decision. His home tours showing what he does in terms of selling homes, press and media features, right? Create some social proof, and then also all around the 56 with Dan Beer, which is him going out and showing his involvement and doing community-based type of videos. This is fantastic, because if I'm a consumer and I'm searching agents in San Diego and I happen to come across Dan Beer and I go here, let's go back one slide, seller and buyer tips, he starts answering my questions, right? Market update that's on here, saying everything that's happening. Dan is doing everything right that's here, right? I mean, he's doing everything right. Then all of a sudden, he has established himself as an authority. And if you go back to why people choose you, because you're an authority, you develop certainty. Right? That falls back into a more modern version of develop authority. So for a lot of you guys over these 12 weeks that we're working together, you may need to dramatically update your presence online, your digital footprint. How many of you guys recognize, compared to what Beer has, you got some work to do? Raise your hand, say aye. And then last but not least, okay, last but not least, I want to debunk the myth of no. Debunking the myth of no. How many of you guys have ever heard that we want to get a yes when it actually comes to, like a yes set close, right? Like, you see this house? Yes, I see this house. It has 4 bedrooms and 2 baths, right? Yes, it has 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. Can you see your family in it? Yes. People are used to that. They're sophisticated at this point, my friends. No, right? Here's why no works. Here's why you want to get a no. And I know this sounds odd, right? I love it, Jason. It's old school selling, right? That getting the yes is old school selling. It's like showing up in your Model T to the newest party on the freeway, right? Here's why you want to get a yes, get a no instead of a yes. Because the no gives them authority, gives them an illusion of authority. People don't like to feel like they're being driven down into a certain, they can feel it. We've all felt that before, right? Also, when we say no, we just protected ourselves. We get the sensation that we just protected ourselves. We can let our guard down a little bit. I'm protected, right? And when our guard goes down, we resist less. What I'm about to show you completely changed my perspective on sales closing. And I can't wait to give this to you as our last piece, right? This comes from my buddy, Mr. Chris Voss. Right? This is some of the closes that we'll be using and I'll be teaching. Right? I've got about 16 different closes that you guys are going to learn. But instead of saying, can we set an appointment? Right? Or when can we get together, Monday or Tuesday at 4? You're still going to use that. But what you say is it a ridiculous idea for us to actually get together? Someone goes, no, I don't think so. It's really easy for them to say no. Right? Are you against the idea of us meeting at the property to be able to actually look at those 3 homes? I think that'd be good. Is it a ridiculous idea for us to be able to make the strongest offer possible for this home? I want you, for some of us, like when I first heard this, I went, really? Am I really going to do this? I had to really go against the old conditioning that I had. Right? However, the minute I started doing this, I did this when I was in Paris. We walked into one of the most elite restaurants that were there. Myself, my significant other, Anna, and our 2 daughters, right? Her daughter and my daughter, the 2 Sophias, right? This was outside of so Germain Saint Dupree. Lisette was the name of the restaurant. And we're like, okay, I go, we should go here. Reservations are necessary. When I walked in, I said, hey, the 4 of us would like to come in. It was at 6 o'clock on a Sunday night. I said, the guy goes, I'm sorry, we're completely, what was the word that he used? It's very nice. We're completely obligated tonight. I'm like, okay, good. I go, is it a ridiculous idea for us to get a table if we could be in and out in an hour? This French guy looked at me and I really his face, like in the very French way, looked up. He looked at me and he goes, I can give you an hour and a half. We're in. It works across the board. I've done it and say it, like obviously, like taught it. All my great clients are using it, et cetera. If you're recruiting, holy cow. Is it a ridiculous idea for us to get together and just talk about what you want to do with this next year? Is it a ridiculous idea to talk? I mean, there's so many ways to be able to do this. Now, one last secret weapon. Have you given up on? Have you given up on? Everyone say it with me. Have you given up on? How many of you have been ghosted by a lead ever in your life? Email, whatever, right? Justin Dunham, so glad to see you, bro. Here is, you want to send an email out? In the subject line, it says, have you given up on purchasing your new home? Have you given up on, Cody says never, right? Have you given up on selling your house? And then in the body of the email, it says, just checking in to see if you've given up on the process of selling your home. That right there has revived more leads for my clients than anything else that I have seen. Have you given up on? So my friends, I had to go fast today. All right. Did you guys get some good stuff? First of all, did you get some good stuff? Yes. I know that we're like a little bit over time. I tried to pack this, John, with I packed this with as much as I possibly could, right? And, obviously now at this point, as we got everyone that's sort of winding down, I'm gonna turn it over to you guys, but I would love to have the opportunity to share with them exactly what these 12 weeks is gonna look like as well, too.
Good. Well, Bill, thank you. Remarkable. I have, Dan and I are in a coaching group of folks that, are any names that y'all would know that are texting me left and right. This is amazing. This is awesome. And these are just super, super high performers. So one of the most important things they said from the outset is contribution. And here's what I shared with you guys. There were, here it goes. I think I said there were 70 coaching opportunities when I started this. Well, we opened this up to my lead inner circle a little bit early. And the registrations are coming in. Dan probably sees them too coming in right now. There are now only 62 coaching spots available. Let me tell you what you get. For 12 weeks, Bill Pipes, 1 hour a week, is going to coach and train it is a 12-week sales velocity course. And not just the team leader, bring your agents in. 1 hour a week, a private Facebook group of committed individuals that are committed to really mastering their sales strategy. And I'll tell you right now, and I know because I do 100 one-on-one coaching calls a week personally with the best of the best, period. And let me tell you something. How are we preparing? We're preparing to win big because my clients are skilled, period. And you better be armed and skilled. Bill was nice how he described the experience that people have had over the last few years. We've been spoiled, rotten brats.
Totally.
We have been spoiled, rotten brats. So check this out. You get to ride along with Bill for 12 weeks, a private Facebook group, 1 hour a week, $29.97 total. And the first, I don't know if Dan put it in there. Dan, go ahead and put the link. Agent Academy, salesvelocity.com. I'm watching as the registrations come in.
Hey, John, can I?
Lamb's in. And I'll let Bill go.
Yeah.
There's 60 spots left. The first 100 people that register for the course get a one-on-one coaching call with Bill, valued at $1,000 per call at some point during the 12 weeks. So it's Dan put it in there. Let me turn it over to Bill so he can explain.
Let me show you guys really quick. Thank you, John. And I love it. Spoiled rotten brats. We need to make t-shirts out of that. So guys, let me show you right now. This is exactly what the course is, right? Here's what it's not, guys, gals. It is not some hype and some, like rah. We're getting down tactical and dirty, right? My goal is, so weeks number 1 and 2, it's laying the foundation. We're going deep on the 7 communication cornerstones, overcoming your call reluctance, the ultimate sales schedule. I'm going to give you the schedule that our top producing agents use. Grade 8 mindset. We're starting that 90-day challenge. We're going to debunk. We already debunked one of the myths, which was the myth of yes, right? And getting to know. I'm going to give you the communication breakdown. I'm going to give you a process to be able to control your state. Now, weeks number 3 and 4, it's cracking the conversion code. Cracking the conversion code, online dialogues, scripts. Like, you're going to get 15 to 20 scripts out of this entire course, guys. But more importantly, I'm going to teach you how to do it, right? Effective closing techniques, tactics, and strategy, the ultimate appointment setting process, and a 22-point conversion strategy as well, too. That's just the first 4 weeks. Week number 5 and 6, rapport mastery. 4 cornerstones of rapport: digital influence and online persuasion, selling to personality styles. I put a little asterisk there because there's something that's really exciting, guys. I know you guys got to go, but stay and listen to what I'm about to show you. NLP, the foundations, another asterisk. You'll see why that is. Weeks 7 and 8, it's the ultimate listing attraction process. 3 database listing strategies. We're going tactical. It isn't just high-level sales. It's tactical for real estate in the business right now. You can see here influenceology, and you'll see exactly what that is. Week number 9, getting offers accepted, teaching you educational selling, expanding on the NLP. Week 10, selling with the brain in mind. Tell you what that is. And then on top of that, weeks 11 and 12, handling objections and the road ahead. Now, my friends, it isn't just me. It's the dream team. I have put together, first time ever in any time, I took my ego aside and said, instead of me doing all this shit, which I love, I'm bringing in the world's best. Roberto Monaco, who worked with Tony Robbins, was the founder of Influenceology, is going to work with us on presenting powerfully. Richard Dougal, who is the only person that I know in real estate that has been trained by Richard Bandler and John Grinder, the 2 founders of NLP, right? And one of the most influential conversational hypnosis individuals for sales, is going to work with us, co-lead that section with me. Alex Anderode, national leader in behavioral profile selling, is going to work with you guys and me together with me. Keep in mind, this isn't them, this is us together on behavioral profile selling. And my buddy Jimmy Rex is coming in to teach you guys the ultimate Instagram strategy to be able to act, social media strategy to be able to create trust, respect, and rapport. And hot off the presses, I can take in the works off. good friend of mine, number one neuroscientist, neuropsychiatrist in the world for children, who has in the last 2 years have been doing work with organizations and sales. Woman by the name of Tina Payne Bryson, that is the best-selling author of the Yes Brain, No Drama Discipline, just world-renowned. She is going to work with you on this neuroscience of selling and how to be able to actually communicate in a manner where you release dopamine, serotonin, and understand the brain process as well too. It's like nothing ever before, guys. So it isn't just me; it's everyone that I'm bringing in as well too. This is the dream team. There it is. One payment, $29.97, or you got a payment plan right there as well too. There's a QR code if you guys want to hit that up. I will turn that over to back to John and back to Dan.
I'm going to share back here. Awesome. Really, really good. So what we want to do, let's check the chat, see if there's any questions that people, yes, it's a weekly meeting. It's 1 hour a week. And the total investment, like Dan put in there, $29.97 for 3 months working with Bill. The net cost of that, Bill, is $3,000 an hour. That's $36,000 of coaching for $29.97. The first 100, now they're rolling in, so I'm watching as we do this. The first 100 that register get a one-on-one coaching call with Bill. In addition, this is a one-to-many course. It's a one-to-many presentation like this was once a week. You'll get all of the recordings too. So if you're a team leader or broker owner that's registering, you will have this for your future onboarding. If you're using Trainual or Kajabi or some online portal, you have this built-in training. This is yours. Yep. So Bill, Dan, anything you wanted to add?
I'm just noticing some of the questions. Yes, it will be live, right? It's on Thursdays. I think it's 9 to 10. Is that correct, John? On Thursday?
You know what I'll do here, Bill? Yeah, go ahead. You can share a little bit. I'm going to go like this and bring it right up for them.
Perfect. And then for all of the team leads as well too, all of you that have teams, I'm also giving you a sort of a how-to manual after each section that says, here's how you implement this with your team and what you need to be working with them on. So whether you use that or your sales manager uses it, to be able to actually make sure that we're reinforcing. Okay.
Here's the details, you guys. All right here. It is Agent Academy, www.agentacademysalesvelocity.com. Agent Academy, and it's in the chat. Agent Academy salesvelocity.com. We're at 52. There's only 48 spots left for the bonus coaching session with Bill. So what you guys are making.
Here's the other thing that I look at, John, which is crazy, is if all you did was just convert one more deal from everything that I'm bringing you and all the scripts, all the dialogues, being able to actually be in top state for 12 weeks, all of the influence coming in from those other 5 wonderful trainers as well too, world-renowned trainers, you would get a 4 times return on your investment. Okay, 4 times return on your investment. And honestly, if all you're looking to do is one more deal, John, I hate to say this, I don't want those individuals in the program. I want people that are looking to really transform, break through, and have an enormous, change in terms, lifelong change in terms of the way that they approach sales, man. I think we got some people that are asking to see what the 12 weeks is.
They see it right there. It's on the screen, right? Oh, just slide it down here. Is that it?
Yeah. I think the week by week. Yeah. We can put that online.
Yeah, and
awesome, Donna. Welcome on board. I love it. I think we got some questions here.
Agent Academy salesvelocity.com. We now have 40 of the coaching spots available, the free coaching call. We got some questions up here. What does it take to know your shit?
Yeah. Study, practice, repetition. My friends, repetition is the mother of skill, right? That's the key thing that you got to recognize. So like I said earlier, one of the things that I get concerned about, John and Dan, is that 12 weeks goes by and all of a sudden you're in the same position you were 12 weeks ago.
Mm.
You know, like, I mean, once you think about that, and we know the market's shifting and changing. So it's not that you're going to be in the same position. You actually, and this is not fear-based or anything along those lines. I just want you to really think about, like, 12 weeks from now, approaching the same challenges with the same tools. All I want to do is contribute to you guys with an opportunity to have new tools in your tool belt, to have sharpened, you know, the tools that you do have, right? So that when everyone is just bitching and complaining and moaning about what's going on, right, you have everything that you need to be able to not just compete, but to dominate. This really is for people that want to dominate the marketplace themselves.
Really quickly, just for some perspective, guys. So you can also coach one-on-one with Pipes, and that's available. That's out there. He's $9.97 every 20 minutes. So he does 20-minute coaching calls, private, $9.97. This is gonna be so if you do the math on that, right? Every hour there's three $9.97 or 3 20-minute slots, so $3K an hour. And that's a fact, by the way. That's not like value stacking here to try to make it look like more or less than it is. It's just what it is. Call us on our, try to call us on that if you can find a different way to them. There's no other way to them other than this way, which is $29.97 for 12 hours of Pipes. So he's gonna be your coach. He's gonna be my coach, by the way. He will be coaching every agent on Beer Home Team. He's gonna be coaching. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, that's great. You have a team. You can put that across all your agents. You're right, but how did I get here? How did I get to the point where this is the reality of my business? It's investing in let's just call it far less efficient ways. When I was a solo agent, when I was a $5 million producer, when I was a $10 million producer, when I was a $30 million. I didn't wait to get here. A lot of the time people say things like, well, you can do that because you're there. Say, no, I'm here because I've been doing this for way long and way before, a decade before you even had a clue of mine. This is how I've always operated and invested into it. And that's the truth for any of our top producing friends, right? Anybody in your elite, John, in your in the Cheplack Elite Inner Circle. So anyhow, just wanted to give you guys that perspective because there are different ways to Pipes, but there's no other way for $29.97 for 3 months worth of content. And John, talk about the platform. What goes on in terms of the platform? What if they miss a call? How do they get back to it? How do they make sure they get 100% of the value and maybe beyond that by being able to access into the future?
Sure. A couple of things I want to share with you guys. He's talking about our Elite Inner Circle. One of my clients went from 425 million to 850 million. You can look it up. Rob Dolphy, top 5 in the world, Remax team. His sales manager just sent me, their entire team is watching. This is an $850 million team, like top 5 in the world. Their sales manager just texted me a screenshot of their thread. These are high performers. We're talking about people on teams doing 20 million and 30 million and 40 million. Team members. Awesome, amazing, thanks. Amazing 70 minutes. This guy definitely knows his shit. Thanks. I can't believe how much I just learned. Very excited for this. See, like knows like. Like knows like. Here's a team leader that's top in the world. He has his entire team on this Zoom, right? And it's these tiny decisions, right? Oh, well, I don't have time or investment. Here's what's going to happen. What we do is we will send you the recorded file for you guys to do as you please. At times we've done it where you log into our Kajabi, but we found that a lot of people in any of the courses we do, they like to put it in their online portal. So and if you're not using them, look into these. If you're growing a team or you've got a brokerage and you want an online educational portal, you don't have to, but you're going to have each recording to use with timeless training. Okay, so you can go back. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what, I was a branch manager. See, that's the difference here. We're not theorists. It's a little different group here, okay? We're people that have done this stuff. When I was a branch manager, I had training come in, and then we'd look at the training again the next week, like pro athletes do. Pro athletes take a look at their game film. They go backwards, and they don't have to just throw some more stuff on top of it, right? We would review the game film. We would review the training of the week, review the actions that took place. Mastery. And that's what excites us about having Bill here. And that's what excites me about the folks. Like right now, personally, 50 of my one-on-one, I don't want to exaggerate, 50, 40, I apologize, I exaggerated. 42 of my one-on-one coaching clients, okay, have already registered. And
Those
if
are
you know who they are,
top producing agents selling 1,000, 2,000. I mean, it's insane.
my clients average 450 million closed sales volume per client, and they're signing up. And so, you know what? Good artists cheat, great artists copy.
Yeah.
They're showing you the way. So you'll have access to that. But the neat thing too is a collaborative Facebook group.
Yep.
You decide that Facebook group and sharing with other people that are committed.
John, I forgot to mention one thing as well too. I don't know how I missed this. About 3 or 4 of the sessions are going to have an additional bonus 1 hour. That additional bonus 1 hour will be a role play session with me on it with you guys to be able to actually take these scripts and to be able to work with you guys. Okay. So here's what I hate. I hate courses that don't get people into action, right? That's why, every single in live, person event that I've always done is based upon mandatory action, So for me, what creates people, the confidence and the certainty for you guys to act is the certainty of what to say, right? And so having that additional hour where it's optional. You can jump in, there'll be live role play going on. I'll be doing some role play. I'll be coaching, role plays and things along those lines. Hey, guys, honestly, I was talking to my significant other, Anna, and we were like just joking around today. And she's like, this is ridiculous. They get all of that. And I'm like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. And here's, John, you had mentioned something, the greats invest even when they don't think that they can, right? Because here's what we know. And Dan, you spoke to this. You're going to pay for it somewhere. You're going to pay for it in either lost opportunity or you're going to pay for it by investing it in yourself. That really is what you've got to look at. What would you rather do? Invest in yourself, right? And leave. Here's the beautiful thing about skills. Once you got them, they never freaking go away. I almost dropped the F-bomb. They never freaking go away, right? You have them forever. They just need to be maintained. And I promise you guys, these 12 weeks will be life-changing.
We've only got 15. I just want to let you all know because you're still here for a reason, okay? And you might be thinking about it. Let me tell you what I was thinking about when I was making $160,000 a year. When I was starting up, when I left a job in real estate and I was a startup in the coaching business, I sat on a webinar and it was $40,000 for the Ask Method, Ryan Levesque. And you know what that coaching was like? You had to wire it. You had to wire it so you couldn't have a charge back on your credit card. I spent the $40,000, totally irresponsible, should have never done it. Well, I don't know. It was probably the right decision. And I'm going to tell you something, it's investment return. There are only 10 coaching spots left, 10 of the one-on-ones. If you want that one-on-one bonus, we only have 10 of those left.
I put the QR code up to make it easy for them as well, too.
Cool. Yep. Agent Academy, salesvelocity.com.
I want to talk to the solo agents because the reality is, the teams, it's like no brainer, right? We're all going to have our sales teams there. We're going to let Bill do the heavy lifting. He'll say all the things to our teams and to our agents that we always say. But heck, if Bill says it, it'll be magic because it's not coming from us. It'll come from him. And all of a sudden, our team members will all listen, go into action. We'll all sell more homes. And the goal is for every single one of our agents to sell an additional home they wouldn't have sold just in that 3-month period. And then beyond that, obviously, you want to keep the skill set. But the solo agent, I really could make an argument for why you need the community more than anybody else. Like I remember, guys, when I was a solo agent, I found my first bit of community, and for me, it was heck, there's no reason not to mention it. It's we all want to give credit where credit's due. We've all come through different paths, and for me, it was I invested as a solo agent in a big website platform. At the time, it was Morgan Carey's platform, Real Estate Webmasters, and while I'm not there anymore, I certainly remember more than anything else, sure, it was a great website and he built a great tool that worked well at that time for me. But what I really remember is the community that I got out of it. Because all of a sudden I had agents that I was interacting with, and so nobody wins in this business alone. Even the solo agent, if you're truly alone, that is very different from having a solo practice, but interacting and collaborating with all kinds of agents around the country that are in the same mode of learning, of growing, of pushing. And that's what the Facebook community is that we built for everybody. And it's interesting. Then you find yourself just participating in other things that we're doing in the Agent Academy world. And there's just a simple difference between what we're doing and what's typically available in the coaching world, which is it's typically theory based. But we're in the business. Like my agents, our team will sell hundreds and hundreds of homes this year. We will use the techniques. We will come into the Facebook page. We will interact what's working, what's not, what were your challenges, where'd you get hung up, what were your fears, why, all of it. And there's always hurdles, right? In any environment, there's hurdles, no matter where it comes from. The issue is a lot of the times when you just simply go to, listen in on a panel or something and go back to your office, you're kind of on an island on your own, trying to sort through the issues, trying to figure out what, troubleshoot certain things, bring them into the group, post the questions, answer. You're going to get answers, not just from one person, but from one another. And this is a no theories zone, right? Like Bill's done the work. John's made hundreds and hundreds, actually, excuse me, John, for insulting you, thousands of prospecting calls. So in any case, I just wanted to emphasize that because sometimes the solo agent wants to understand how and where they fit in. You have more to gain than anybody, and I can make that argument. So I just want to put that out there. You start behaving in a way which not where your current self is, where behave like who you want to be and go toward. And that's a whole nother thing, but you'll get a lot of that mindset mentality just hanging around Bill and John. And
you know what, Dan?
Been a hell of a ride, man. What's up, Bill?
Brother, two things. Number one, I refuse. It is. I live my life based upon integrity. I refuse to teach anything that has not been proven in multiple markets by multiple individuals. It is something that is incredibly important to me. Right. So everything has been tested that we're going to be sharing with you. Number two, you want to make $1 million? This is one of the promises. It's what I put millionaire maker on my Instagram, and I've done it time and time again. I say it not to brag. I say it because